I mean, I think when you play against Miami, it's always needs a big collective effort. Obviously, it's a really talented team with special players, and for us, it's always about being collectively compact, hard to play through. But at the same time, I think there's opportunities when we have the ball that we can be good and dangerous as well.
And then within the squad generally, do you feel the weight of this being 1 versus 2? You know, whoever takes it will take a firm lead on Supporter Shield, or at least a lead on the Supporter Shield. Does that there a vibe around the team at all with how important this game is?
I think, when we kind of come back off the Leagues Cup, we know that that's now concluded. We basically have a really singular focus and mission, which is to be focused on the MLS season. And the objective is crystal clear, which is to compete each and every match to finish as high as on the table as we can. And we know that the next opponent is Miami, an Eastern Conference foe. And we want to continue to remain at the top, not just through Saturday, but as long as we can.
Claudio? BJ, there's plenty of games left anyways in the season, but I mean, is it difficult for you and the team to take this as just a regular MLS game, or is it a game that perhaps, because everything's already in play, Nashville needs to make a statement?
We want to be able to compete with the elite in MLS. We want to compete eye to eye, and Miami for many years, and in this year you can see having another great season that they're one of the best teams in the MLS, and we're confident in our abilities as well. We're familiar with them. We've played plenty of matches against each other, and so for us it's just about getting it back in front of our home crowd, restarting kind of the MLS part of this journey here, and really look forward to the opportunity and the challenge.
Now, obviously, because of all those games that you're talking about, you'd probably be the first one to say that this team, Miami, is maybe just as good without Messi. He's just a little better with Messi. How difficult has this become now, with new people that have got in as players? How difficult is Miami in terms of what it was perhaps last time?
Sure, I think you can look back at the historical games that we've played to learn and take lessons from. But right now, both teams are going to be different. They've obviously added and improved their team. At the same time, I think that we've added and improved our team, whether that's through players or players becoming better or us playing better. The intention is that we see two teams that are improved, but still at the same time put on a really competitive and entertaining match.
Ryan, you here?
I'm good, thank you.
Obviously Messi is on Miami, but they have a midfield that does a great job at just breaking pressure and getting the ball to their forwards. How much of a difference and how much of an improvement do you think Casemiro has been to that so far?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously a world-class player. So, he's a guy who plays both sides of the ball. Very good defensively, very tactically aware defensively, and then with the ball is able to, you can see, unlock you from deep areas, or if they're able to pin you into low block, then he almost becomes like a number 6 playmaker, if that's a thing. So for us, I mean, he's definitely added quality, but they've also had quality in the center midfield before with Busquets. So I think it's just again, it's a new version, but at the same time, you can see that they have a very clear way they want to play, and they're very, very good at it.
Obviously, you guys get your fullbacks involved in the attack a lot. It seems like Miami really like to a lot of times it's DePaul, but they like to split out one of their midfielders cutting into that fullback spot, and then they push all their fullbacks high and overload. Do you think that is that going to force you guys to be a little bit more aware of kind of that threat in behind, especially when you're trying to push your fullbacks up?
Yeah, I mean, I think what you do see from them is that they do a lot. They like to get Rodrigo DePaul on the ball. They get Casemiro on the ball, and then that gives them threats in behind with the guys that are running. And then if that space opens up, then they're able to play through the line. So I think for us, defensively, it's just about being disciplined, organized, and then finding our moments to be able to build pressure on them.
Reed spoke the other day about the mentality that you guys have talked about needing to have when playing Liga MX sides, and whether you want to call it dark arts or whatever it is, right? Different ways that they can find an advantage. Miami has some of that too, it feels like, and there's this layer of an emotional component too, with Messi obviously coming off the passing of his father. It feels like emotions are going to be running high with Miami. Is that a part of the discussion at all in terms of the mentality you guys have to deal with that? And does playing the Mexican teams help prepare you for that in any way?
I think when you match up two really good teams, there's a lot of different factors that go into the match, right? There's going to be your tactical game plan. There's going to be the technical execution. There's going to be the physical component to being able to play. And then lastly, there has to be an emotional connection to the game. The game is an emotional game. But you have to keep it in check at some point too, right? It can't become has to be used as a positive and not as a negative. But at some point, you have to be able to match those in big games. And we know tomorrow, whatever night it'll be, Saturday night will be no different.
And now after Leagues Cup, you've had a few games with a sample size of Elias starting with the team, building connections with Christian, Sam, and Hani. How good do you feel about his status right now and that attack, and how maybe he can help you guys unlock some things down the stretch?
Yeah, I think Elias has found spaces in between the lines. He can turn and run at the back line. I think he's found spaces wide, and so it's still early with him trying to create those connections and trying to get all of them on the field at the same time for prolonged periods. That's still a work in progress. That's still an area that we're going to continue to get better and improve. But I'm confident when you put good players around other good players, those connections can happen quickly.
How would you describe the rivalry that's been cultivated between Nashville and Miami?
I can't speak for them. I can speak for us that I think we have a tremendous, healthy respect for them. We respect the way they play, the way they go out, they go about their business, the way that they play. But at the same time, I don't think there's a fear, right? I think that we believe in ourselves. We believe in the way that we prepare and the way that we can perform. And I would like to say that they bring out the best in us, and maybe they would say that we also bring out some of the best in them.
I'm curious, what would you say is the main positive takeaway from you guys' 3 games in the Leagues Cup play?
I think it helped us get some guys minutes. I think it helped us, get some guys experience. So when we have to call on them in big moments, in big games, and I think there's also been some nice learning lessons for us. Everything wasn't perfect. We don't shy away from that, but to go through those experiences is the only way that you then can get experience. And now our job is to learn from some of those moments and get better.
Hey, BJ, with Miami just 2 points behind a contender like Vancouver, LAFC, and San Jose closing on the overall table, this match is a true 6 points final. How is the work working mentally to channel Wednesday and frustration into the aggressive needed to hold onto the top stop in the MLS?
For us, it's just about making sure that we reflect and refine from the last game that we played, continue to, our preparation as we always do. And at the same time, we're excited that it only takes us a couple more days before we get to go out and compete again.
Inter Miami right needed a win to snap top stop in the conference, and the Shield race, seeing how the squad struggled to sustain high pressure for 90 minutes on Wednesday. What is the primary defensive adjustment to avoid exposure against Miami attacking firepower?
I think it's to be true to our identity, right, which is to be difficult to play through, find moments to build pressure, create turnovers. I don't think it's anything different than us being who we want to be. And when we're at home, we know that we always want to be able to play and play at a speed and a tempo that can make the opponent uncomfortable.
We'll go to John on Zoom.
Hey, BJ. Christian certainly seems to be a guy that connects this offense and really seems to make it click. Just wondering if you could talk a little about his skill set and what enables him to sort of fill that role as kind of a connector. As I said, maybe, the guy who kind of makes the offense click.
Yeah, I think you see with Christian his ability to either be wide and isolated and get on the ball, but at the same time he has the ability to threaten and run in behind. I think the goal that he scored the other night, you saw that. And then lastly, if it's not one-on-one or running behind, he can put a really good delivery into the box. And so that complete skill set keeps the opponent off balance and also gives us a level of versatility to be able to break down good opponents.
Sure. And you touched on Leagues sort of the regular, I guess, rotation. How much is that game, you feel like, an indication of where the team is right now?
I think what you saw coming in from that first game to the second game in the League's Cup was the response that we wanted, right? We left with a little bit of a sour taste in our mouth from the Lyon game, and we challenged the group to have a response to be a little bit more like ourselves. And I think the way that we went after the San Luis game is more indicative of who we want to be.
Anything else in the room? Okay, go ahead, Harrison.
Ani obviously got another 45 yesterday. I guess, where is he at generally in terms of his recovery? I mean, how close to 100% do you think he is?
Yeah, I think we're juggling a little bit of the injury coming out of DC United and a little bit of a disjointed training environment due to the birth of his son, and so I think we've been able to normalize him as best we can, and I would classify him as fully ready for selection.
And then in terms of scouting for this game, is there any difficulty with one of their top attacking players his status being uncertain going into this?
I would tell you that our preparation is that we're prepared that they're going to put out their best lineup, and then we can make adjustments from there. But for us, like I said earlier, we have a healthy respect for them, and we know how competitive their team is, and so we'll prepare that they're going to put their best team out there.
BJ, is it fair to say that you went from having issues to have a lineup even before the World Cup because of the injuries, to having now a different problem where you have enough guys that can play their positions for you to be harder to come with the lineup?
Certainly, when we were down 7 players, I think it's more about how we can keep guys fresh, and you have limited choices. This is the competitive roster that we want, right? With almost everybody healthy, able to compete. We think that raises everyone's level, and I look at it as the coach as a great opportunity and a great challenge that I have to make these hard decisions to figure out who's going to be on the starting 11 and who's going to be in the game day 20. That's exactly the environment that we want to create here.